Hey, everybody, welcome to Native Matters. This is our premiere episode. You'll be seeing more of Native Matters moving forward. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and so is the person that we have as a special guest tonight. His name is Chief Lamar Nelson, and he's the chief of the tribe that I'm in. Hi, Chief Nelson.
Hello, glad to be here.
I'm happy to have you. I'm so glad to see you. You've had a busy schedule, a busy schedule.
Well, I am very busy. I work 7 days a week, it seems like, and it's so exciting being chief of a tribe. It's a very honored position. I've been chief for several years now. We got a lot of tribal members that I consider family, and I feel responsible for all of those people. And we're moving forward, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you and others and let people know about our tribe.
Yes, we've had some incredible things happen this year. Um, well, start off by telling everyone what you did today, just as an
Well, to,
example.
well, I attend a lot of meetings, and today I was at a South Carolina 250 meeting about the 250th year anniversary of the battle here. And with those people, I represent the Native American side. There was 17 of us there. And they look at all of these revolutionary generals and officers as heroes, Andrew Pickens, Elijah Clark, and so forth. And, that's the part that they're celebrating. But 2 years ago, when they asked me to be on this committee and represent the Native American side, I've been able to provide them with information they wasn't aware of. And for instance, today, I provided them information that shown that all of these so-called officers that they think are heroes are not actually heroes. And if it's okay, I'm going to quote a couple of things here
Please.
that I was reading to them. For instance, Brigadier General Andrew Pickens and Elijah Clark, they went into the backcountry destroying several Indian towns and forced the Cherokee to sign a temporary peace treaty with them that was later ratified in Augusta, Georgia. But they were destroying their towns. These are two officers in the Revolutionary War that went into Cherokee towns along, the rivers over there where Lake Kiowee and Jocassee are, and they just destroyed them. They also said that we proceeded with almost 500 mounted men. 1/3 of them had swords. And they're attacking, you think about this, they're attacking a Cherokee village. And they go into the village and they said, we went through the woods unexplored by any of us. We are entirely avoided their spies and completely surprised one town and made prisoners of more than 50 women and children. And I think you think about a battle or a war, and you're making prisoners of women and children. Now that is horrible that they would have done that. Brigadier General Andrew Pickens told the Cherokee that he would advance no further and he would release their prisoners if the Indians would release their prisoners. And he also said, we give you 2 days. If you do not comply, we will destroy as many of your towns, as much of your provisions as possible. So that's what they're telling those people. A couple of more comments. They got on October the 17th, they took 12 chiefs and 200 warriors that met Brigadier General Pickens to ratify a peace with them. And to do that, they had to surrender all their land between Chattahoochee and the Savannah River. So they were forcing them to give up their land. And I want to read this one last comment that I told those people today, just to show them that all of these revolutionary officers were not heroes. This was wrote by Lieutenant Francis Marion. Now, everybody knows who Francis Marion is.
Swamp Fox.
Right. So he wrote this. He said, "We proceeded by Colonel Grant's orders to burn the Indian cabins. Some of the men seemed to enjoy the cruel work, laughing heartily at the flames. But to me, it appeared shocking sight. Poor creatures," and he's calling the Native American people creatures. "Poor creatures, thought I, we surely need not grudge you so miserable habitations. But when we came according to orders, we cut down the fields of corn. I could scarcely refrain from tears. Who without grief could see the stately stalks with broad green leaves and tasseled shocks, the staff of life, sink under our swords with all their precious load, to wither and not untasted in the mounting fields." He also said, "I saw everywhere around the footsteps of the little Indian children, where they had lately played under the shade of their rustling corn. We are gone, thought, and they will return, and peeping through the weeds with tearful eyes, will mark the ghastly ruin where they had often played. Who did this? They will ask their mothers, and the reply will be, the white people did it, the Christians did it. Thus, for cursed Mormon's sake, the followers of Christ have sowed the selfish tares of hate in the bosoms of even pagan children." So that's things that is not told, and all of these stories that are told about the Revolutionary War and all these battles that they had and so forth. And I told them, uh, they claim, the Cherokee were all fighting with the British and so forth. I said, the Chickamauga, they fought everybody. They not only fought the British, but they fought the colonials. They hated everybody. They just wanted some of their land back. And I was telling these people that today, and the expressions on their faces was unbelievable. They were shocked because they don't hear this information. They only hear the good part. So that's what I did today.
So you went and gave an adjustment.
I absolutely did. You
See,
know,
that's
I just wanted them to hear another side of that story. And I told them, I said, let's look through the other window. Let's just not look through one. Let's look through the other one.
I'm getting teared up about it.
Yeah, it's really, when you read stuff like that, and that's just a sample. And when we hear things like that about celebrations and so forth, and I mean, it's happened in all wars. We know that. But I told them, I said, uh, the French and the English and the Spanish and the Portuguese all came here, and they were looking for religious freedom and for resources and so forth. The Vikings were here 1,000 years ago. The colonial people come here 500 years ago. When they got here, there were millions of Native American people here, millions. But the first thing they did when they got here was started taking resources. They took their land, their food, their people. They took it all away, from the people that lived here. And it's a shocking story that I will continue to tell, for many more years to come, I hope.
Yes, we need it. We need it. We need to know the truth. Because the people that, the ones that win the war are the ones that tell the history.
That's true. Absolutely. But, I do a lot of programs. I do a lot of public outreach and school programs and lectures and so forth. And actually, I got asked today, this is news to you, Lee. I got asked today to do a lecture for a week at Wofford College.
Wow, that's
So,
amazing.
it is. So sometime this spring, we got to come up with a date that will work for me. They actually wanted me to do it for 8 weeks, but I said, no, I don't have the time.
Mm-mm.
So I'm going to do it for a week at Wofford College in Spartanburg and lecture those
Heck yeah.
there. So that'll give me an opportunity to talk about Native American history and the archaeological work that I've done, trying to preserve our historical and prehistoric sites. So it'll be an amazing time for me.
And what I really admire about you is not only are you modern, indigenous leadership, but you also have a passion for history, because there's a
Absolutely.
whole nother side of you that's a historian and an archaeologist.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to preserve, doing archaeological work. I'm trying to preserve our history. There's so many sites today that's getting covered in concrete. They're covering our village sites. For instance, over at Lake Kiwi, Jocassee area, all of that was put underwater, and we got uh,
Oh God.
dozens of village sites that's 100 feet underwater. A lot of our graves are underwater, and we saw that when we did that Mile Creek ceremony over there, where I was there when I was a teenager at Fort Prince George, and they excavated some of the Revolutionary soldiers and some of the Cherokee people and left the rest of them. And I was there when they did that, and I went back as a teenager, and the water started creeping over the graves, and it gives me cold chills to think about it. And my ancestors are under 100 feet of water. And when we performed that ceremony at Mile Creek Park over there in Pickens, our son took a pontoon, and several of us went out onto the lake, and we went right over the top of where that village, that fort was at. And Jody had stopped up in the mountains and got some spring water from a site up there, and we took it and we poured that water, and we gave our ancestors a drink of their ancestral water while we were
Oh,
there.
how beautiful.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, long before Lake Kiwi existed as Lake Kiwi, that land was indigenous. There was indigenous life and ceremony and survival, and there was a horrible betrayal that happened at that location. So, do you mind giving a brief about that?
Well, there were many, many villages up and down those river systems over there in that area, in between the mountains at the lower foothills. And when the revolutionary people decided they wanted that land, the colonials had tried to expand west and going further and further west. And they saw that beautiful land and water and trees and everything that was in that area. Well, the Cherokee people, they had their villages there. And so, it wasn't a stopping point for colonials. They had their the soldiers. They went over there. They burned the crops of the Cherokee people. They stole the women. They made slaves out of the women and some of the men. They shipped some of the men down to the Caribbean. They paraded them around over in England like a fancy dog that was over there. And we lost all of our village sites. They took every one of our village sites, and they continued to sign treaties with the Cherokee people. And the treaty wouldn't last very long because the colonial people wanted to continue to expand. And to expand, they had to take more land. So even though a treaty was in existence, they broke those treaties. And after a while, we had no land left. It was all gone. And that's a terrible tragedy for us. Our tribe here in the upstate of South Carolina has no land. And all the land that the people walk on here in the upstate, you're walking on our ancestral lands. We want part of it back. And many states and cities across this North America have given land back to native tribes.
Yeah.
And I meet with several organizations about every 6 weeks, and we got an attorney that helps us. She's very, very special to us as a tribe, and we're trying to get land. And we're working with some of these nonprofit organizations to do that. It's been a challenge. We're working
Yeah.
diligently to do that, but we just want part of it back. We want some organization or some individual that says, "Hey, I don't want my land covered in concrete, and I want the water and the birds and the animals and the plants protected forever, and we're stewards of the land." And that's what we're going to do if we can ever get land. And we want to put our powwow grounds there. Our vice chief is a medicine woman. She's going
Yeah.
to teach classes on native medicines. We're going to put trails and get kids out there walking on the trails and off their phones and off their computers and show them what life's all about. Nature. Let's get outside. Let's walk outside and show these kids what a bird is, what a tree is. And that's going to be fancy if we can ever get land, but we need people's help. And so if you know people out there, if anybody's listening to this, and here in the upstate in Spartanburg, Greenville, Pickens counties, Anderson, Lawrence, anywhere in the upstate, And we can own multiple parcels of land. We don't have to own land in one spot. It can be 10 acres here and 500 acres there and 300 acres here. It doesn't matter. We will protect it forever if
Yes,
someone will donate that land to us.
that's exactly right. The chat room is buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. So everybody's enjoying listening to you speak. It really touches our heart, and we are on a mission to get our tribal land. And there's been people sending me messages. If you have questions, please put it in the chat. Gwen will pop it up, and we'll be able to ask the chief live what you have to say. So
And,
here's a question for you. I'm
okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Now I'm open to, to meeting people in person. If anybody wants to meet me in person about land or about our tribe, I can meet you in person. You can email me. I do better at emails and phone calls or text messages rather than on
Mhm.
Facebook. So contact me one of those ways. We can sit down. I can explore your site. If you got an archaeological site, I can check that out for you. Whatever I can do to help you and whatever you can do to help me is appreciated.
That's amazing. We have a land grab back agenda, LOL. That's right, Jody. Oh, she's our vice chief. For those of you watching the show, Jody's a very amazing, educated, loving, traditional, indigenous lady that has a lot to share. So
And for
here's our
one,
first.
and for one thing about Jody is, Lee, you don't know this. I was asked by the Native American Studies Center at USC Lancaster a few months ago if I would be willing to do a presentation, a lunch and learn presentation that'll be recorded live. It'll be on YouTube and several other places. I think I'm the first chief that's ever been asked to be on that lunch and learn. And
That's
I've
awesome.
and I've asked Jody to accompany me, and we're going to do a presentation on Cherokee family, tribe, and history. So she and I both will do that presentation. I think it's going to be in July, but I'll update you later on that.
Please do, because maybe we can go and video it ourselves and
Yeah.
put it on the website and get it out there.
Yeah. And you had a question, I think, from the audience.
Yes. So one of my questions, here we go. Chief, for listeners who may be learning about the Eastern Cherokee, Southern Iroquois, and United Tribes of South Carolina for the first time, what can you share that led you to be Indigenous leadership?
I've always loved my Native American ancestry. My grandparents on my dad's side were Native American. My dad had 9 brothers and sisters, and they all look the traditional, what people consider looking like Native American people. I would sit around and listen to my grandmother, especially tell stories. That was a traditional way that Native people learn from each other, just like our powwow that we do today. We learn from it.
Right.
But I sat around and I would listen to my ancestors talk about our history. And my grandmother said that her mother was a medicine woman and that she had saved her life when she was a young girl. It was during the flu epidemic that came by in the early 1900s, and she said she was dying from the flu. And her mother, a medicine woman, went to the forest, came back with different plants and so forth and roots. She made a potion with it that she had her to drink for like 3 days. And she also made a poultice that she put on her chest. And she said after
Oh,
3 days, she was almost totally cured. And she said, I would have died if it hadn't been for that. So listening to these stories, I was always interested in Native American history. And I started finding artifacts, arrowheads and spear points, which drove my interest in archaeology. So as I got older, I become a member of this tribe, and I worked with our former Chief Goins. I worked with him. We went to different places together, and he sang songs, and we did all kinds of things. And so when he passed away, the existing council knew of my dedication to the tribe. And we had conversations with the clan mother, and I was elected as the chief of the tribe. It's a huge honor to be chief of this tribe. And I feel, so happy and responsible for all of our people and helping our people to not only get health insurance and food and clothing and housing. I want all of this for our people, just like some of these big federal tribes. I want that for our people, and I do that. Just recently, we had food donated to us from the
Yes.
DAR, and as a matter of fact, I told them today, I'm so thankful that they donated that food. And
Yes, me too.
Angie and I drove up to above North Carolina, above Asheville, and we got quite a few tribal members in Tennessee, and we went up there and delivered that food to them, and they were in tears. They were actually crying because we did that. And we also had another organization called Mission Lakes Keepers of the Word. They donated food to us, which we delivered to elders. We went out there, and all of this, keeps my interest as the leader of this tribe. And I want to do everything I can to continue this leadership and prosperity for our tribe. And as all of you know, we are now state recognized, not just a group. Jody and I and some other people worked for 3 years, and we spent a lot of money and thousands of documents and dozens of meetings. And we are a state recognized tribe in South Carolina. We're the 10th tribe in the state. There's 10 state tribes and one federal. So we are moving forward. We are increasing our membership. We're doing so good. So
We're growing. We're really growing. One of our listeners, she ended up texting me. She wants to know, Chief, how much of the history is of South Carolina Cherokee and Southern Iroquois United Tribes is like the North Carolina tribe?
well, all the Cherokee are linked together. No matter whether you're in Georgia, there's Cherokee in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia. There's Cherokee in all those states. There was even some Cherokee. A friend of mine, an archaeologist friend of mine, contacted me a couple of years ago, and they had some human remains washed out into the ocean down in Florida. He contacted me. He's an archaeologist down there. He's at the University of Florida, and he contacts me and said, "Do you know of any Cherokee that were down in Florida?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, these remains, with the artifacts that they found, they definitely know that they were Cherokee people, and they were on the Gulf.
Really?
They were on the Gulf Coast of Florida." And so we don't know exactly how many was there, but they were Cherokee people. So these Cherokee people are everywhere, not just in South Carolina, not just in North Carolina, because everybody relate the Cherokee to the Eastern Band Cherokee in North Carolina. And there's a lot of those people up there. But there is Cherokee in South Carolina too, and that's what our tribe is.
Right. I gotcha. All right. So here's my question next. And those of you, you can go to the chat live and Gwen will pop these questions up. You don't have to text me. It's okay. But I'm manning the phone. Gwen's got her phone. I can see her in the green room and she's going crazy looking at all that too and making sure things are getting up. This is a really big group and I'm so glad that you guys, we are still here. Hashtag we are still here. That's it for tonight. That's our hashtag. Let me
And
make that banner.
and Lee, I also want people to know that, we as a tribe, we respect all the other tribes in South Carolina, and we care deeply about all the other tribes and the Native American people in South Carolina. So, we're happy to be a tribe here, but there's lots of other tribes in this state, and some of those people are in the same position we are. And so we want to help everybody.
So here's my question. Let me run up here to it. All right. So what are the primary goals of the tribe today? I think you've already answered that, but we can go back over it if you don't mind. And how do those goals support cultural preservation, community strength, and tribal sovereignty in South Carolina?
Well, a lot of those, the goals today is now that we're state recognized, our main goal now is to get land. That's going to be our primary goal. And like I've said before, I meet with several organizations about every 6 weeks over in Greenville. Uh, and these are all nonprofit organizations. They're trying to help us get land. And we're currently looking at a piece of land over in Pickens Anderson. It straddles the county line over there. If we can just come up with the money, our tribe don't have the money to buy it, and the other tribes in South Carolina don't either. So we're relying on these organizations to help us. And culturally, you know, what we do culturally is our powwow is one of the main things that we do. We have that every year over right now. We have it at Haygood Mill in Pickens, and we do dancing and singing and drumming. We do all those things. We do storytelling. We have craft vendors there, so that's part of our culture. But also, you know, myself and my vice chief and some of our council members, you know, I do public outreach where I teach Native American history and archaeology. I do the archaeological part to show people that Native American people have been here for thousands of years. So culturally, we're working hard. We go into a lot of schools and talk to people about that.
So here's our save the date. Save the date for the annual Eastern Cherokee Southern Iroquois United Tribes of South Carolina powwow on May 2nd, 2026. It will be at the Haygood Mill in Pickens, South Carolina, and more information on that to come. So, you know, as I've talked about this to different people, what is a powwow? They said, what is a powwow? And I just said it's an indigenous family reunion.
Yeah. It's really a reunion. You know, it's a gather.
Mhm.
You know, it's a gathering. You're correct. You know, it's a gathering of people. A lot of us are family related, tribal. To me, all of my tribal members are my family, all of them. And that's the way I look at it. And so we're all family and we gather together and we invite people from other tribes. The public is invited. We want you to know all about us. And to do that, you got to ask questions. You got to meet us in person and you got to come to our powwow. So that's how you learn and that's how we learn from you.
So, your tribal Facebook page has popped up. We need volunteers. We need help and vendors. So, I will be sharing the vendor forms on my Facebook page and right after the show. And we will be circulating those vendor sheets. And yes, Blaine, we are family.
Yep.
Our family.
And to make sure your vendors have to be handcrafted vendors. It could be soap. It could be minerals or rocks. It could be woodworking. It could be anything Native American related. We don't allow people to bring in where you go to Walmart and buy a bunch of stuff that come from China and sell at our powwows. We don't want that.
No.
We want to give the local people, people here in South Carolina, an opportunity that work hard and make crafts and so forth to come to our powwow, and that's the type vendors that we want there.
People that sell honey or things to do with like mushrooms and tinctures. I remember seeing that. And I want you to know, folks, the stuff that I bought at the powwow is so pure and so organic. I bought some mushroom coffee. It was amazing. And yes, it does help in every way that the vendor said that it would.
Yes,
Also,
and
you can also see Chief has a booth doing napping, making the arrowheads, and we have a sacred fire, and you'll hear the music, and hopefully Jody will lead singing again, and we will have dancing where it's the veterans come in with the colors, the flags, and then we have family dancing, and then men, and then women, and fancy dance, you know, and social dance, all of those things. It is really majestic, all of the colors and all of the hand beating and craftsmanship that goes into these regalia.
one thing that's important too is we do each year now we're doing the MMIW dance, the red dress dance. It what it does is it relates to people, the murdered and missing Indigenous women. And we had about 70 people in the ring. They were grandmothers and mothers and little girls, and they were representing all the Native people across North America. And so if you see these people in a red dress with a red handprint on their face, that's what they're doing.
Let
And
me
our
pop up that. I'll pop it up. Just give me a second. And there you go. Oops. Gwen, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We're doing it at the same time.
what you're looking at now is our tribe is sponsoring a MMIW Intertribal Powwow February the 22nd down in Lexington. We're sponsoring that powwow. Jody, our vice chief, and several of our council members and tribal members are heading that up. You can talk to them about that. And then, of course, we got our traditional powwow, which will be May the 2nd over at Haygood Mill.
So that's two things. That's two events that there's the other one that the tribe is putting together. That's a lot of work, folks. So
Oh,
if
it's
you
a lot
feel
of
like a lot of work, yes. And so if you feel like volunteering, yes, our event is an informational event. That is right, is to teach and to love. Um, it's amazing. It really is amazing. The food is great too. The native tacos, man, we had a line wrapped around the building. So, does anyone else have any questions for the chief before I go to my next one? Okay, so here's mine. Can you explain the role of the tribal council and how council members are chosen and why strong governance is essential for a state recognized tribe like yours?
Tribal council is very, very important to any tribe, our tribe and the other tribes too. Council members, and we're structured. We have a chief, a vice chief, and a council, and that council supports the chief and the vice chief by guidance. We go to them to ask questions, and we expect them to help us to organize events, to answer questions for us about things that's going on out into the public. And so uh, they're very, very important to us, each one of them. And we got a strong council and we got a strong vice chief, and each one of them helps me. And my vice chief and I are on the phone at least once a week. And our council members, we got a chat that we go back and forth, and it seems like every day that we're on there 4 or 5 times a day. So it's all very helpful. And what was the second part of the question?
So, and how are they essential? How is the tribal council significant for a state recognized tribe?
Yeah, you have to have a structure set up to become a state recognized tribe. And to do that, in all of this documentation that we turned in, we showed that we had a governance, a chief, a vice chief, a council, all that set up. We have a tribal secretary treasurer, we have an office manager, we have all of those people. And it's important to note that not one of our officers, vice chief, chief, nobody in our tribe gets paid. All of this is volunteer work. And we spend hundreds and hundreds of hours of our own time to operate this tribe. And we do it because we love Native American people and we want our history to be out there for everybody to see.
So the council has been messaging me a bit, and they sent over a photo from our tribal powwow last year. And this should give you an idea of how beautiful it is. Ladies in their regalia.
Yep,
And
that's our head lady dancer and also one of our council members.
yeah, she's an incredible lady. I love dancing with her, and she's very educational. The way that it is really very impressive. Thank you, Victor. I just want you to know, Chief, that the actor that plays Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, he's actually watching the show right now. And he said, he's enjoying the show. He's actually filming in Daytona Beach. And he wanted you to know he's watching and he sends his support. And he hopes that one day he can come visit the tribe.
Well, that'd be wonderful. We'd love for him to come to our powwow. That way he could see a lot of our people and what we're all about.
His name is James Stokes, and we've got several other people that film things, and they're just really enjoying this about the culture. Yeah, it's really impressive. Here's a question. Whoops, I hit the button, Gwen, and I messed it up. How far are we on getting federal recognition?
Federal recognition is probably going to be out of the question for us. And the reason for that is there's only one federal tribe in South Carolina. I know of one other tribe that is trying to get federal recognition in South Carolina. I've been told, and I don't know this for a fact, but I've been told that it takes about $1 million in 10 years to get federal recognition.
Ooh.
Our tribe does not have that money. Now, in South Carolina is one of the hardest states in the nation to get state recognition. And when we got our state recognition, we were voted unanimously to get state recognition. And so we were only about 3 steps away from federal recognition. But to do that, we would have to hire lawyers and have to have a whole lot of money and probably 10 years of time. And once you apply, if you ever turn down one time, you can never apply again. So that's the reason people work for years and years and years to make sure that they don't have one T that's not crossed or one I that's not dotted. Because if they apply and they get turned down, they can't do it again. So for us, it's probably not ever going to happen for us. I'm happy to be a state recognized tribe. We got a lot of things going for us, and we're going to be prosperous, and we're going to get land, and we're going to grow. I know that's going to happen for us. I can already see it. Once we got that state recognition, uh, it put us out, it give us limelight. It put us out to the forefront of the public, and now they know who we are more. And man, we're growing. I
Yeah.
got applications. If you could see, you can't see behind me, but I've got applications laying here that'll take me another month to get through all of these. You
And
know,
I've got about 10 for you that I haven't gotten to you.
yeah,
So,
just to process. I mean, it takes a long time to review all this, and so. But to answer your question, and I know my wife says that I could sit here and talk till midnight. And I'm sorry about that, but as far as federal recognition, I don't see it in the future for us. I'm not saying it won't happen 20 years from now, but it won't be happening in the next 5 or 8 years.
um, so does anybody else have any questions about that? All right. I got the thumbs up, so that's good. Okay. And looking ahead, 5 to 10 years, what is your vision for the future of ECSUIT? And what would you like the public to understand where the tribe is headed?
We're headed in the right direction. That's what, I've heard that said before. We're headed in the right direction. Uh, we're state recognized now. We're working to get land. And in 5 to 10 years, we're going to have land. We're getting closer and closer. All of these meetings that I attend, and Jody's attended some of them, we got a lot of support. And there's a lot of people out there that wants us to have land. And I suspect I'm hoping that this year, 2026, by the end of the year, we're going to have land. That's my goal, is to get that. So the journey for us is really promising. We're getting new members. Uh, we've got about 25 applications that I had just in the last 3 months. That we've got like 25 new applications, and they were all related to people that were existing tribal members. They were people that, like a father and a mother, or somebody, and now their children wants to become a tribal member, and that's okay. As long as they got the documentation, because I hold our applications pretty strict, and
Yes, you do.
you've got to have that documentation and fill out that genealogy line and directly relate yourself to a Native American some kind of way. But we're gonna be moving forward. I'm excited. I am really excited about our tribe. I've told Jody that. Jody and I, we laugh sometimes, and we see a lot of promising stuff coming for our future, and we're planning for the future. I'm 73 years old. Lord willing, I'll live to be 100. I don't know. That's up to him. But uh, I'm going to lead this tribe as long as I feel like I got the ability to do so. And we're planning for our future. We're planning for our next council members, our next chief, our next vice chief, our land, uh, our office. We talking now. We already planning ahead because I'm an envisionary. I look to the
Yes.
future. And I know that when we get land, we're already talking about what kind of office we're going to put there. We're going to put walking trails. We're going to have teaching areas that we bring children there. We're going to bring Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We're going to bring kids out of
That's
school.
wonderful.
We're
Yeah.
going to have tours there. We're going to be doing all these things, and so you gotta do that in advance. You can't wait till right to the very last minute to start making these plans. And we've already got them tied down. We know what we're going to do.
Yep. So this one's going to be a fun one. So for listeners who want to respectfully support or learn more about the tribe, what are the best ways to get involved or stay connected?
Ask questions. If you want to get involved, ask questions. You can, like I said, you can email me, you can phone call, you can text message me. That's better to me than doing Facebook. Come to our powwow. Uh, if you got an artifact collection that you need me to identify, I can do that. I don't want to travel all over the state, but I'll meet you somewhere or whatever. I can help you do that. Uh, if you feel like that you have Native American ancestry, you prove it. You know, I can't do your genealogy for you. I don't have the time. But if you want to be a member of our tribe, ask me. I'll send you an application. But you got to have that documentation. Make sure
Yes.
that you got that. Don't waste your time or don't waste my time. Have that documentation and get involved. We ask for volunteers at our powwow.
Yep.
You don't have to be Native American to volunteer. And once we get land, you think about this. Once we get land, whether it be 10 acres or 500 acres, we're going to need people to come there, bring your shovels and your rakes and your tractor, your chainsaws. We're going to need people to do that. Come and volunteer your time and help us. Uh, Maybe you want to help teach us a class. I've got friends that are flint knappers, and I used to do it quite a bit. But now, as chief, I don't have the time. But I got a lot of friends that do flint knapping and do pottery, reproduction Native American pottery. If you got those skills, come to our powwow. If you don't want to do that, when we get land, come there and help us teach classes.
Uh,
So that's how you
that
get
would be
involved.
amazing.
Yeah, and we're going to do that. Jody and I have already talked about this. Uh, I know I make atlatls. I can shoot the bow. I throw the atlatl. I do flint knapping. I got friends that do pottery. And we're going to have all these kids sitting there and we're going to teach them how to do this stuff. And it's going to be so much fun.
So there's an email for the chief, lnelson952 at yahoo.com. That came from the council, so I could get that up there.
Yep.
We need volunteers. We need volunteers. We need volunteers. We need vendors. We need sponsors. Um, and here's this other one. We are still here. Land back.
Yeah.
Hashtag land back. That's what we're going for.
And I want to say this, if you want to help this tribe, there's multiple ways by volunteering, by doing these things, supporting us, asking questions of people about getting us land. You can do all that. But also, we're a 501c3. We're nonprofit. You can donate money to our tribe. Everybody wants you to donate money to them. But donating to a Native American tribe is really, really special to do that. Uh, we're a people. We don't have a tremendous amount of money, and we're trying to build our checking accounts up so that when we do get land, we can put an office there. We can buy wood materials and other types of things to do that. So donate money. It's tax deductible, whether it's $100 or $10,000. Donate money to our tribe and help us out any way that you possibly can. If you, I've met people before that had no children, no really ancestors they wanted to leave land back to or leave their house to. Contact us, put it in your will, donate to our tribe, and help us to grow. We want to grow so that we can help children and people in general.
I do want people to know this man can grow the biggest vegetables that I have ever seen. He and him and his wife Angie, they had tomatoes that would cover a whole slice of bread. That I got some last summer, and that's the kind of thing that a tribe, they do. If you have a load of tomatoes and I've got a bunch of squash, we're going to swap it out. We're going to
Absolutely.
can for each other. If I've got something, you've got something. That's
Absolutely.
what a tribe does. We play towards everyone's strengths,
And
you know?
what we're going to do, Lee, is this. Even though it's a modern thing, Angie, my wife, and I we're experts at canning. I've been doing it my entire life. We can everything. And we grow a big crop every year, and we share, like Lee was talking about, we share that crop. And once we get our own property, we're going to plant fruit trees, and
Yes.
we're going to plant a garden there. It's going to be our tribal garden, and we're going to take those vegetables and we're going to share it with the people that need it. The elders and the children, they come first to us. That's the Native American way. You always put your children and your elders first.
That's
And
right.
we're gonna grow these crops, and we're gonna have people come out and volunteer to help us pick beans and break beans and canned potatoes and all these things that we do. We make jellies and jams and all kinds of things that we can do, and we can teach it to you if we can just get land.
We Y'all, we need land. We need land because we can make it come alive for the members, not just the members of our tribe, but the future of the youth of our tribe and the people around us, you
And
know?
and, and Jody is mentioning too. I don't want to forget this. We want you to know about native medicines. I mentioned earlier that
Yes.
my great grandmother was a medicine woman, and she saved my grandmother's life. And our vice chief is an expert at native plants. And I learned a little bit when I was a kid. My grandmother took me out into the forest and taught me about the different plants and medicines. And we want to take and plant all native plants as much as
Yes.
possible on this property, and traditional plants that will make medicines and so forth, so that we can share that knowledge with the public.
I think that native medicine is so critical, being able to do things in a holistic way. I've been doing some medicines. Well, these are more supplements and vitamins and things like that. It's not prescriptions because that's the whole point to get away from that. That Dr. Noe has prescribed for me. I was having an allergic reaction and I was taking these holistic things that I thought were wonderful. And well, there's fillers in there. And I was allergic to some of those fillers. I went off everything and used her resource because she works so closely with these people that, the people that make those supplements. And I haven't had any breakouts and, or, my throat hasn't closed. I haven't had to use my EpiPen or anything. And, that's a miracle. I've been dealing with this for over 20 years. So I've had success. I had a kidney stone and I had to have surgery. It was just too big, but I was able to do some natural things and I was able to get back to work stronger. You know, uh, it's amazing to what you can do with natural remedies. Oh, and here is the ticker for the bottom of the Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/EC, which is Eastern Cherokee, and then SUIT, Southern Iroquois United Tribes. So if you want to just interact with a tribe that way, go to our Facebook page, send a message. There'll be somebody monitoring, probably Randy Marie, but it could be any one of us. Trying to keep up with what's going on. You could either use the Facebook page or Chief Nelson's email. But feel free to reach out to us. Gwen and I stayed up till 3 in the morning many nights getting some of these some of the applications in and getting it to the standard that the chief needs to keep the integrity of our membership. So we're here to help everybody. We're not here to take. We're here to educate, love, and give. And that I think is the original message And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we've been so successful. What do
Yeah,
you feel about that?
and I want to say, Randy does a great job on her
She's
Facebook.
amazing.
She actually answers. She provides me with information that I've missed on Facebook, and she'll say, "Hey, Chief, you didn't see this. Here's a question for you," or she'll tell the people to email me rather than ask me a question on Facebook. And I wanted to say too that yesterday we were working on tribal letters, and we'll be mailing out
Oh,
here in the next couple of days over 200 tribal letters. Now, here's this question is always asked to me. We got probably by the end of the year, we're going to have around 500 tribal members by the end of the year because we're getting applications that are most of them are qualified. And so we're going to have that many, but we're going to mail out like probably 250 letters just in the next few days. And people will say, well, if you got 500 members, why are you mailing 250 letters? Okay, that's an easy question. Because they might be a family that has children that lives in the same household. And rather than sending 4 letters to the same household, we'll send 1 letter and put on the letter itself a person's name and family. And when we do that, that prevents duplication of those letters because we spend a lot of money. People don't realize it takes a lot of money to run a tribe.
yeah.
And so, through printing and we bought a card machine. We provide everybody with a card, and that cost us $3,000. We bought a canopy, was $3,000. We bought a sign to replace our sign to give us to them by the state was really over $3,000 with the installation. So we're spending a lot of money. And so to get that, we depend on the public for either grants. And if you know anybody that wants to give us money through a grant, please do so. Or if you want to make donations, please do that. And that helps us to continue running this tribe. We can't do it without the public's help.
Wow, that was very well said. We cannot do it without people supporting. And I just feel like this is such a worthy cause. We're trying to, honor history and take it into the future. So I'm trying to get this other picture. Oh, I see Dr. Noe has replied. Hold on, I'm coming. Trying to get that picture loaded. It wouldn't go. We accept Vanguard grants. Yes, thank you. Vanguard grants. I'd love for you to talk more about that, Vice Chief, whenever you come on the show. Trying to get this. No, it's not going to load. I'll get it before we get off here. You watch. I'll get it.
One thing that I want, there's a lot of public listening to this conversation. I'm asking you to acknowledge us through letters of acknowledgement, whether no matter what county you live in, do a proclamation. If you know your council members in the county or the city that you live in, ask them. Say, do a proclamation and acknowledge our tribe that's here in the upstate, because all the upstates are ancestral lands. And so have them acknowledge us by providing us with a letter, signing that letter, acknowledging that we're here and that you're on our ancestral lands. It belongs to us. We occupied it at one time, and every footstep that you take, all the public that's listening to this, every footstep you take, you're walking on land that belonged to our ancestors in the upstate.
That's the
Every piece of
truth.
it.
And that's the truth. It is absolutely the truth. And giving it back would mean a wrong had been reconciled. And being able to give back to the ancestors of the people that were the ones that were stolen from, that would be a beautiful way to honor their memory and to make things right. It'll
Eh,
definitely be giving to our tribe. It definitely give to our children and our descendants.
Right. Everything that I do as a tribe chief, not I say that in a broad spectrum, but what I'm doing as chief of our tribe is not only for me, not only for our existing tribal members, but for our children. I want our children and our grandchildren and people down the line to be able to have a better life, have land, have their own ancestral land back. And I work hard to do that.
There's a lot to that, and I'm surprised at how much success you've had, how many positive talks and grants we've received. I mean, there's so much that has been covered. How amazing. We're hearing what we need to hear. We just need to keep going. We're going the right direction. We're gonna get it. We're gonna
Oh
get it.
yeah. Yeah, and I know we pushed a lot about that in this conversation, and we got so many other good things going for us uh, through our tribal members and our council and our powwow. We're growing, and everything is so upbeat and positive for us right now. And we don't want to look backward. We don't want to see anything that's happening in the past pertaining to our people or our tribe.
Mhm.
We want to look forward, and I can see a bright future for us.
I do too. I finally got the picture to load. Okay, here we go. These are the ladies at work. This is Chief's wife, Angie, and there's Randy, and they are working.
That's April.
April, excuse me, April. Sorry, Randy. Sorry, April. I get names mixed up. It's that kind of day.
Yeah,
Just that kind of day.
yeah, that's my wife, Angie, on the right side. She's our office manager, and she works very, very hard. She
Yes, she
spends a
does.
tremendous amount of hours. Today, she's been addressing these uh, letters that's going out. April had came here and helped us fill
April.
out our 501c3 status. We have to do that every year with the state of South Carolina, and we also have to do our federal status every year. So April is she's our secretary treasurer, and she was working with Angie on her finances, and so they were working for hours getting that done, and they did a great job, and they helped me out a lot.
Yeah, you had posted that in our chat. I just had to give them recognition on the show. I'm going to throw these back up, Gwen. Okay. First, this one's coming up first. It's February the 22nd, MMIW, Missing Murdered Indigenous Women Powwow. And we'll cover more about NMIW, what's happened, how many victims, what's going on. We've covered it before, but that's what this show is about. We're going to talk about these kinds of matters. And when you hear the whole story and the numbers, and we even profiled who the killer or killers may be in another podcast. But here's the other one. This is the big, big show. Save the date for the annual Eastern Cherokee Southern Iroquois United Tribes of South Carolina powwow, May 2nd. Yes, we are so grateful to have April and Angie. That was a great post that popped up there. Things to remember. So, yeah, you've got so many people responding. Do you have anything else you'd like to cover, Chief?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to sit on this broadcast and to put out the word of who we are, uh, what all about us, what we are, what we do, what we're trying to accomplish, and what our future is. And so I'm thankful to everybody. I'm thankful to the public and all of our tribal members and our council members and our vice chief. I feel so positive today. Our spirits have been lifted by getting the state recognition, and we see a bright future for all of us. And you want to contact me, please do so. If I can help you in any kind of way, you've got my contact information. Give me a call, email me, text message me. If I don't answer you right quick, it's because I'm in a meeting somewhere or traveling. And if I don't get back with you within a day, contact me again, and
Yeah.
we'll sit down and talk. Whatever I can do to help you, I will do it.
And he means that because he's helped me and he's helped so many of our tribal members. So as we have the last 2 minutes of the show, I'm going to just do, with your permission, Chief, I'd like to do a small little blessing, Native American blessing.
Yeah.
I usually end shows with those. So here it is. May the ancestors walk beside you. May the earth steady your steps. May the wind carry your prayers, and may your path always be guided by truth, honor, and balance. Thank you for listening to Native Matters.